I might die tonight, but if I do, I'm a...
Love thyself.
Knowing there's a problem at hand to begin with.
Might die. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the Might Die podcast. This is episode 23. We're here. We're back. Big Schmerdo. How are we? 30, 23. Are we up to 30? Are we?
Yeah.
Fuck, what do you mean? Hold on. 31. We are, man. No, yeah, we're in the 30s. Sorry. Here we are. It's been a long trip, but we're pushing it. Anyway, don't worry about me. We got a special guest here, as we always do. We've got Cory Freeman here. How are you there, brother?
Very well, thank you. Yourself?
Oh, yeah, pretty good. I just fucked up the intro, but I can't complain.
I feel blessed it was on my episode.
Yeah, so it's a good start. Like, we just fuck up around here, so no stressing. Put it in a bit of a nutshell, break it down. You're a professional photographer?
Correct. I am indeed.
Do you have any other labels that you'd like to claim?
Look, I'm going to be moving into the content creator space, which is cringe as fuck to say, but yeah.
So does that more visuals, more moving images rather than...
It's more me.
Yeah.
Right, so so you personally are going... So instead of being behind the camera, you're stepping in front of the camera.
Correct.
I've been there, I understand that.
Yeah. I think we had a chat about it when you started amplifying your sort of channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that making that step from behind the camera to in front of the camera is a daunting...
It is.
It's a daunting process.
Especially when you started going, I want to be the guy behind the camera.
Yeah, that's right.
That was always I'm going to stick behind it. I got the vision from behind here. I don't need to be in front of the camera. Nowadays you do.
Yeah, no, it's as I think we were chatting before, the way that personal branding is now becoming such a necessity for business.
Yep.
My business, when I started on my own, I didn't need to be in front of the camera.
Yep.
And funnily enough, when I did start my business, I was competing in bodybuilding. So I had to remove myself from that ego of being in front of the camera there, then run my business and be behind the camera. And now I'm doing the reverse.
So in a nutshell, you've done a little bit of bodybuilding yourself.
Correct.
That maybe opened the doors of a little bit of comfort of understanding what it is like in front of camera.
Yes, correct.
Let a few doors down.
Yeah, look, when I was bodybuilding, when I was competing, would have been back in 2014, 2013, so it was 10 years ago.
Yep.
Time's flying.
Yep.
And back then I was in front of the camera for repping for sponsors that were sponsoring me at the time. I was sponsored by Gasp.
Yep.
I had BSN, the supplement company, so I was kind of used to taking a lot of photos of myself in shape.
Right.
And then I decided to piss the ego off and get behind the camera and start amplifying everybody else's ego, because that was what I was actually interested in.
Oh, so you started taking photos after that. So technically you started in front of camera.
I was both,
Yep.
but there was obviously, on a business sense, I was sort of working with athletes, but I was in front of the camera a lot more.
Right.
And I decided to put that to bed
Yep.
and remove the ego and just be the guy behind the camera doing the cool work and not focus on me so much.
Did all that stop, the bodybuilding and all that stop at once? Were you just like, I'm done with this? What happened there?
Competition-wise, yes.
You doing well?
I placed second at my last show.
Yep.
That was at a state level.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I decided that I needed to focus on the business so I can actually make money.
Yep.
rather than just
like
blowing it all into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And
Gets like
just getting by.
Yep.
So yeah.
Nice. So that's sort of interesting. So that's obviously where your origins come from. You're a bit of a gym dude. Have you always been that?
No, so I started going to gym. I don't think I took it up until I was at 21.
Yeah, right.
Working at my old man's garage. And a mate of mine was a state track runner.
Yep.
He was going to the gym and he was a pretty big dude for his age back then, even though we were 18, 19.
Yep.
And I'm like, I need that. And then at the same time, I was running nights at nightclubs. I'd only really just got my feet into the marketing and graphic design industry back then. So I've worn quite a lot of hats in the last 20 years.
Yeah. So what did you like leave school and do?
So straight out of school, I went to TAFE for 2 years in graphic design, because back then I was a hand illustrator. So for me, the path would have been tattoos.
Yeah, right. So you've always been arty.
Yeah. I'd be the kid sitting, back in the day, the kid that would sit at the dinner table with the parents out with friends for dinner, and I'm sitting there scribbling on a napkin.
Yeah.
That kind of kid, or writing
Relatable.
himself. Yeah.
Totally.
So how come you didn't start tattooing?
Because back then it was frowned upon with my parents.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you can imagine the first tattoo I came home with, I was living out of home. I was living with a girlfriend at the time. I'd broken up with her and I went and got a tattoo.
Right.
There's a Transformers symbol on the back of my neck.
Yep.
I came home and overnight after breaking up with the missus, parents didn't know. I basically packed all my shit up and came home. And they woke up the next morning and noticed that my bedroom door was open. Mum's peeped her head in. There's a man in the bed with a tattoo on his back. And she's like, who's this? No idea I had one.
Oh, no. You know what's actually funny? How far that was a fucking thing.
It was.
For our whole generation. Like, we broke that stigma of tattoos.
Yeah.
Like, none of our parents wanted us to get a tattto.
No, if you had a tattoo, you were a bikie, you were, that's a sort of white supremacist kind of.
Yeah, dude.
It was hectic.
I still remember, my old man was not happy when I got my hand. Like, not happy.
Yeah.
Like, it was like there was a period where it was like a little bit disowned, you know? And like he worked back with it, but it was like, you've just fucking ruined your life. You've ruined the family reputation.
Well, I was always told you can't have tattoos on your hands because you won't be able to get work.
Yeah, well, that was same.
It's just a scare tactic that goes along with the rest of them.
But I think, in those days, though, that was the case. Dudes that had tattoos on their hands weren't getting fucking jobs.
Whoa.
Where it got to the point where people just needed workers, and it was like, well, if that dude's going to work, you're fucking hired, dude.
You go out in trade or somewhere where you're not on the forefront.
Yeah. But that's actually sort of a funny thing that, like, back in there was this whole era of, like, us kids going against our parents being like, nah, we're going to get tattoos because they're fucking cool.
It's in the same vein that we would be 14 to 16 going out to house parties, which does not happen these days.
No. That was a whole cultural thing that was like, bro.
You walk around with a six-pack that you got your parents or something to get for you, chuck in your backpack. Actually, you'd love this. Your old Camelback.
Yeah.
You used to put the old bottle into the Camelback and just be sucking on that.
They were like I don't think I ever did that, but there was always the one dude that was like, and you're like, dude, this cunt's fucked, man. Just sucking on the Camelback to keep it going. Fuck, man. Times have changed.
Yeah. Because the cops would pull you, if you're walking home and the cops pulled you over, your young kids walking, they'd empty your bags out and tip the cans out. The Camelback, it was just, I think they hadn't quite cordoned on. That was great.
What, the old Camelback?
This guy's just keeping himself hydrated. Good on you, mate.
That's it.
Oh, man, that's sick.
But that's that kind of shit you just sort of forget. Like, the kids these days would have zero clue as to how we used to function. Like, no mobile phone. Well, actually, the Nokia 3310.
That was like, you'd flick a couple of texts, and that was about it. And that was just
cost you per text.
Yeah, so you'd be you'd be smart about your texts. You'd be like, right, I'm going to send one to the boys because I know that this dude's with everyone else. So I'm going to find out where everyone else is. Yep, text, go there, done. Not like now is like full blown conversation. That's how we communicate. Like I do.
You get in trouble if you don't respond now.
Yeah. Fuck. I don't even like talking on the phone at the best of times. I'm like, don't fucking talk to me, mate.
See, I'd still rather a phone call.
Yeah.
Text just do my head in. I don't know why, if it's a thing of just sitting there having to
I've got
put effort in, or if it's just I could just do that and go, hey man, what's going on? Oh, cool, yep.
I guess it depends on the convo. If it needs to be spoken and it's done, dusted, or bruv, no, cool, sweet as, organised, see you later.
Catch,
But that nothing drives me than like, what are you doing, man? I'm bored. Don't fucking call me.
Don't call me.
Like, because I'm busy, cunt.
Yeah, that shit. No.
Get stuck in the voice memos.
Yeah. True.
That's where it's at.
Well, that's my voice memo at the end does say something like that. It's probably like, look, I'm probably using my phone for everything else apart from a phone.
Yep.
And if it's really important, leave a message because it's like, like, oh, use this to film. I'm getting content on this.
That's
or I'm
it.
editing or I'm doing something and then someone fucking fuck off, cunt. Does me. Anyway, back to your story. Rant over. So you got into graphic design.
So I was, that was the mature route.
Yeah.
You go from your hand illustration, you can't really do anything with that unless you want to be like a tattooist or something like that. So graphic design was where it was at. There could be a business made in that. You could work for somebody. So my parents are happy with that. So off to TAFE for 2 years.
Yep.
In that time, I had started running nights at nightclubs, and the social scene was sort of changing from I was playing tennis at state level, like I said, many hats.
Yep.
And that swapped over to the social scene. Then I started going to the gym because that was more appropriate. You're going out, you got to sort of
Look
be
good.
the bigger guy. I was always the shortest and skinniest kid. And then, well, look at me now. I'm 6'4",
Yeah, you're
130
massive,
kilos.
dude.
So,
How did you grow up? Like, how did you get tall? How did you get tall? What? When did you get tall? And how did that happen?
literally through end of year 11, I think year 11 and 12, I started to shoot up.
Really?
And I was this height, but 86 kilos, so 40 kilos lighter.
Yeah, right. Interesting. True.
But yeah, so graphic design was where that sort of went.
Yep.
And that's where I sort of ended up. I ended up finishing TAFE, gave up the night clubbing because I then ended up having I found a role in a family friend's sort of graphics marketing advertising agency.
Yep.
So I started working there, and that's where I sort of got my foot in the big boys world.
Yeah, right. So are you still drawing in that? You still do a bit of that?
Don't draw anywhere near as often, although these days, you've got fancy things like a remarkable tablet and iPads, and you can do all sorts of fun shit with that.
Yep.
They're pretty sick too.
Yeah. The closest thing I think I get to drawing nowadays is using my remarkable tablet, which is like that digital paper pad.
Yep.
And is it just one for drawing? That's it.
It's for me. I'm not a typer. Like I can type, and I'm used to typing a lot. But for me, for remembering things or getting ideas from in here onto pad is hand scribbles.
Right.
Yeah.
So
100.
and I'd go through way too many notepads.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you'd well know. So the Remarkable's great because I
And
can
that's
just
that
scrub
one
it.
little board
Rub it out,
thing, eh?
yeah.
I've seen them, yeah.
Best game changer.
They're like 200 something bucks or some shit, yeah.
You can store. You just get a subscription for $4 a month or something like that, and it can go to the cloud and everything. You can you screenshot your scribbles as a PDF and email it to people. It's so much quicker.
True.
Yeah, and you just swipe pages and just start, resize it, whatever.
That's
That'd be handy as.
I seen it once and I was like, that looks like my kind of tool.
Yep.
But I'm also like not sure, and when you're just like, I don't want to invest in that
Just
much.
another.
If it was $80, you'd go, yeah, fuck it. But it's like that little bit of a chunk where you're like, am I even going to use it? But hearing that makes me go, probably would. Like I just have it next to my computer, just
See,
notes.
I've got the what did I buy recently? I got the 49-inch curve monitor for my stuff. I downgraded from having 3 screens to just one widescreen.
Yep.
In the Mac Studio, I've got the laptop, the Mac laptop, and then you've got the iPad. Should you need it for any sort of hand scribbly graphics because I still do graphic design every now and then for clients.
Yeah, nice.
And then you got the Remarkable tablet for scribbling notes and getting shit off my head onto paper.
Sick. That's good to
Comes in
know.
handy.
So it just stores it. You just save it.
It's a digital notepad, man.
It just stays there. Yeah, right.
It's just like I said, it just ends up being a
Page for
PDF.
page.
Yep.
And I just think the lost art of like doodling things with your hand, your brain tends to retain information.
Yeah,
It takes time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as soon as I write something down, I remember it.
Correct.
Like most of the
Most
time.
time.
But like there's that link of like I can think it forever and I'll always forget it. As soon as I put it on the page, it's like, where it's in real life.
You
now.
remember you scribbled it somewhere.
Yeah. And it's this weird, okay, I know that's there. Yep, cool.
Halfway through the book. But
Yeah.
With the pad, it's just, it's life changing.
Oh, there you go. Interesting. All right.
Dubai.
Yeah, I'm going to have to fucking get on there. Is it still Black Friday sales? I might get a little bit cheaper.
Probably.
All right, so then you're doing a bit of graphic designing.
Yep.
Weightlifting, went from that to weightlifting?
Yeah, so that sort of that came around about the same time. I decided to do bodybuilding comps.
Yep.
I don't know why I decided to do bodybuilding comps. I just liked the
Yep.
sport of it, I suppose.
Fair.
Yep.
Did my first natural comp, and then straight from there went to open class, so untested, and jumped on the gear for a bit and started competing there. Let's face it, it's where a lot of people end up going anyway. So
Yep. Interesting. And then that went, you were just over it, went to the camera.
No, so within that period, so I was competing. I'd gone from an advertising agency then to working for Ironman 4x4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you guys would have heard of that.
Yeah.
I just noticed they rebranded recently too. I was scouting their page and I randomly came across their shit.
Yeah, right. Yep.
But I worked for them for quite a few years as a marketing manager. So I went from a junior graphic designer to a senior role.
Right.
Big jump up, really.
Yeah.
And I did my second lot of competition. My first comp while I was there, went through a separation with my ex-wife, and then decided that I was going to completely flip my life upside down and start doing my own business.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I had enough freelance clientele coming through the fitness industry that I could sort of support it. And
Yep.
the supplement game was huge for, like, this is before, you go into a supplement store nowadays and there's just
Yeah.
brands.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I was doing a lot of brand, like, labeling for jars and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
graphics.
right.
Yeah. So went out my own.
Yep. Nice.
And that's when the photography started.
Yep.
At that stage, I was single.
Yeah.
Right.
And I started dating a dancer, a stripper.
Right.
That's where, at that stage, I started getting interested in photography because I needed it to complement my graphic design business.
Yeah.
So I decided to just jump it and go buy a camera, buy a cheap lighting setup as you do, and get stuck into
Interesting.
it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's,
Are you still using the same lighting setup?
I just sold it a few months back.
Yeah, sick.
I held on to it for a long time.
Yeah,
but
that's what you need. That's gangster.
yeah.
So how deep are you in photography then? So you started your mid-20s taking photos?
Yeah, so I started. I would like to think I started late.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Probably.
Yeah. So for the last decade, I've been doing photography.
Wow.
Yeah.
That says a lot because you fucking got an eye, dude. Like that's
you.
what sort of sucked me into your shit because, like, again, probably touch base for everyone that's sort of listening to. Most of your photography content is very. What would you like? What's the nicest way to put it? It's like
edgy.
Yeah, but it's like
my
it's modeling, but
yeah, my adult content tiptoes the lines.
Yes,
it's very risque, but it's I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's like adult modeling.
Yeah. Look, I work with a lot of
Soft-
adult content creators. Let's put it that
Softcore.
way. Yeah.
But so, and in a nutshell, I'm not personally much of a, that I don't really sit there and over things. But your stuff, your shit.
Oh yeah.
Your shit like really shined artistically to me. Like I see the woman's body as a beautiful thing.
Yep.
It's art. It's a sunset. It's the same thing. Yeah.
Yep.
The way you capture it, I think that's what always locked me into you. It wasn't like the whole like, oh man, titties and an ass.
Hot.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it helps, but like most of it was like, holy fuck, look at the lighting, look at the angle,
when
look at the.
He said that you were coming on.
Yeah.
He flicked me through
Through our page.
and that, and he just kept saying, every time we spoke, it was like, man, just the lighting. Have a look at it. That's why I asked what I asked before. Have you still got the same lighting setup?
Yeah.
It's where he started. Did you learn that, or did that just come natural to you, do you think? No,
so for me, I've always been interested in reverse engineering other people's work.
Yep.
Because I see it and go, I'm very competitive in anything I do.
Yep.
Right.
And when it comes to the artistic side of things, I'm like, I could do that.
Yep.
And someone approaches me for it, I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah.
Just show me what you want and let's make that happen.
Yeah. Sick.
And then you reverse engineer what lighting was it, how was it shot, can I see that they've used effects on it, and we just build off that and then make our own version of it.
So
and
you'll always have like an example, sort of.
Not always, but I'm inspired by the most random of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could be looking at something completely non-related to the adult industry, but I'll apply whatever was about what I've seen into my work. And that's why you probably see my stuff stand out a little bit, because it's not the same as everybody else's.
No, it's far from it, dude. And I think, again, that's probably why it stood out too. It wasn't just an average couch or bed shot or on the bench.
I've always liked to say that my work's been tasteful.
Very fucking oath, dude. And I can definitely back that. Like, that's what I've seen in all your, even just, there's a few where you'll like be on locations and be like, that's a fucking, probably shouldn't be there doing that.
We've had a few of those.
That's what makes it cool as fuck. Like, but I guess sort of tracking back, you got into like, I guess that adult space of like taking nudes and shit like that.
Yep.
It came easy because you were with a girlfriend that was doing it, and then that slowly I think presented itself more, friends and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, look, it's a mixture of things, because I'm a very open person from the get-go. I'm pretty accepting, pretty open-minded to a lot of things.
Yep.
And I enjoy extremities.
Yep.
And from bodybuilding, you're used to seeing a lot of people putting their physiques on the line, not wearing a lot of clothes on stage.
Yep.
I'm comfortable around it.
That's right. I'm used to capturing that. I myself am pretty comfortable in my own physique.
Yes.
And how I look and whatnot. The missus at a tribute that I walk around the house regularly naked because I just can't be fuck wearing clothes. I hate clothes.
Yeah.
Just they're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got that, and then to the artistic side of things, I've always been fascinated about the human body and how it's captured and portrayed. So that's as you'll see in my work, whether it be my athlete work or my modelling work.
Yep.
It'll always be tasteful. There'll be always something different about it that you'll see.
Yeah.
That's an interesting angle, or what he's done is really cool.
Again, you're not just taking photos.
No.
You're like, hold on a minute, I'm going to go down here and do.
I've had a lot of people say the angles, just the angles you shoot things on.
I think I can almost relate to that a lot. I move.
Yep.
People just get fucking
Yeah.
move. You can
Give me some personality.
move around. Like it's crazy. But and I think that's why I can sort of see your stuff and be like, he fucking moved, man. And again, when you do any sort of visual content, like, you know, moving images, video, you're moving.
Yep.
And you're capturing everything, and there's like a sense of like feeling, and like I love that. That's how I shoot. So I think it's like very relatable. But yeah, I think that's probably you shine with that sort of You're not afraid to move, get around it, get in there, get the shot.
And it's sort of a shame that I don't capture a lot more of, which I'm going to start doing, obviously moving to this content role.
Yep.
Me doing my work.
Yep.
So you'll see, and I'm a big guy. I move around a lot
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
big
yeah.
guy.
Yep.
I'd be sweating some shoots, and not because I'm nervous or anything like that. It's because I move.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll be pulling the poses. I'll be doing the weirdest sort of. I'll be in the weirdest spots to get the shots, but
It's so relatable.
It's just,
yeah, dude.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
And it shows in the work.
It does, man. And it's funny too, because like for a long time, I think, like you were saying, because it's becoming trendy to capture yourself capturing. It's like you don't even need to go out and get photos anymore. You need to get a video of you getting a photo and then put it all together, and then
You need a bit of inception.
fuck, bro. But I've fucking completely lost me fucking train of thought. Where the fuck was I going with that? No, it's gone. It happens.
gone?
It happens. I've just gone completely fucking
So you
blank.
need your
on it.
doodle pad.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
All right. So yeah. Anyway, you did a little bit of athlete stuff before the adult stuff really took over.
Yeah, so because I was in the bodybuilding industry, when you come out and say, look, I started working with people for free. I was like, I want to capture your physique when you're in shape from shows. And that's where it sort of started. And I was doing a lot of work out of Nitro Gym back when that was a thing.
Yep.
And shooting just people through their gyms. It gave them a bit of cross promotion, gave me promotion, and the athletes got cool photos out of it.
Yep.
And I really think when I started that, that's when we started to see where this sex is always sold.
Yep.
Yes.
We all know that.
Yep.
But that's where we started to see the athletes. It was before OnlyFans, so that wasn't even a thing. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
So back then, when I was doing the adult content, it was just like the bikinis, the lingerie, and the nude stuff. The girls were at the strip clubs, so they needed photos for framing at the clubs or for signage that are going on. I don't know if you ever saw the Jupe car advert. It was a billboard, mobile billboard. The car used to drive around Dandenongs and all the areas with the Jupe billboard.
Yeah.
So they needed adverts for stuff like that and for paper clips and all that sort of jazz. So that's what I shot for. And Instagram was very young back then, so it was sort of like it wasn't anything like it is now.
Was it still magazine times or?
Yeah. Huge.
Did you do any magazine shots and shit?
I've
Was that
done so many magazines?
Yeah, okay. So like that's probably where it started. Is like mostly for magazines.
The aim was
and
to
shit.
get stuff into magazines for sure. That
Yeah,
was the big thing. Like magazines nowadays, it's sort of become digital mags. Which
Yeah,
is Instagram
it's funny.
mags.
So hey, remember magazines? We've almost forgot. Like that was probably
It was
a part
cool
of
to
that.
have the
That
tangible,
was
like
that's one
physical
thing
copy.
that is shit now.
Yeah.
Is it like free riders, all the good motor stuff, anything magazine type that was.
You'd be hanging
like,
for the chick in the centerfold to stick up in your fucking dunny wall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. And you know what too? Like knowing I reckon I could have a pretty good magazine these days. I'd be a real good. You know what I mean? But it's just they're not fucking cool anymore. Magazines. They're just.
The problem is the cost to produce them.
it's not
versus
worth it.
People won't buy them
No.
unless you've got a cult following that want whatever specific content you're putting out there.
Yeah.
But people are looking at that going, what the fuck's that for? I've got my phone.
You'll find that there's still people that love a coffee table magazine.
It's
Yeah.
true.
If you've got the right content,
It's
Like,
true.
Let's face it, we don't really have. You might be different with this scenario.
Yep.
But we don't generally tend to have as many people to our house anymore.
Yeah.
To chill out.
Yeah.
So that's why there's no necessity. It just looks cool for Instagram photos of your house of people not sitting there, but they should be sitting there. I mean, it's just that kind of shit that it just doesn't make sense.
Crazy.
But back then that was same with the bodybuilding mags. They were if you could get in one of those, awesome. Same with all the Penthouse and all that. The shit was big back then.
Yep.
So
Zoo Mag. Remember
Yeah,
Zoo Mag? Fuck, bro.
actually, I shot with one of the girls that was on. I think was it Zoop? Was one of those types of magazines that sort of cheaper mags where they just sort of anybody's a celebrity if you get top off.
Yeah. It's funny to think too that like that was that long ago now that like all those hot models from the cover of Zoo are like 38-year-old
older
mum probably. Yeah, well we were young, so they would have been in their mid-20s when we were looking at. So they're like 45-year-old just mothers that are like, I was on Zoo. Oh,
that was me when I had me tits out.
Oh, this was before OnlyFans. This is how you used to get it done.
That's it.
Crazy.
Like that the OnlyFans coming in has changed everything.
Yeah, and you
on your end,
dipping into that, you have a lot to do with that side of things now. Yeah,
Nowadays we do, yeah.
Yep,
So as I was telling you before, my main focus nowadays is shifting back in towards the athletes and strictly to the adult industry itself, and just showing my authority as a adult content. I'm not a creator. I don't physically get involved in the adult industry as much as I do the fitness and bodybuilding stuff.
Yep.
But my authority as being someone who's a safe and a professional in that industry is huge.
I guess that's actually two really big topics that I think I want to sort of touch on. And that's one, like being in that space, you need to really carry a safe energy.
Yep.
And I guess, do you get amongst it?
Yeah, so no, I don't. I stay on my side of the camera.
Yeah, so like that's something that you've sort of been like, I'm not going to do it. I'll shoot it and I'll get around it, but it's not for me to get in front of the camera and rude anyone.
Yeah, so like I've been with my partner now nearly 10 years.
Yep.
So Kish, howdy.
Shout outs. Shout out to the misso.
That's it. No, she's been my rock and she's been fantastic because she's supported me the whole way through. Like she met me, we met online, believe it or not, and we both bodybuilders.
Yep.
But she followed my work for about a year. So she knew what I did before we even met, and she used to follow the work avidly. So she's been a huge supporter of mine, doing everything that I do creatively. Bless her. And
that's
good. You know, from the start, it wasn't such a big thing back in the day, but now with all the female killings and all that sort of stuff, not that we're really touching on it, but now that is such a prominent problem that's being escalated, you really do have to be careful. Especially as a model or talent working with creatives, because there's a lot of guys out there that do have the wrong intentions.
Yeah.
So it's a massive thing to put yourself out there and show an authoritative figure to say that I am a safe space, I'm enjoyable to work with. A lot of transparency is required.
Does a lot of it probably come from like word of mouth and like,
Massively.
You've been in the game for a long time. You haven't been a creep the whole time.
Correct.
That ends up being like, we'll get him to do it because last time I was on a shoot with him, he wasn't a fucking weirdo.
Yeah. So look, when you work, especially when you work so frequently with different people.
Yep.
If you can give them a great experience from start to finish, from the moment they contact you and reach out for a photo shoot to the shoot itself, the lead up to it, during the shoot, after the shoot, and then obviously the social media side of exposure and all that sort of stuff. If you can carry yourself in a professional manner that whole process, then there's no reason that anybody should have a problem with you.
Yeah.
And like the amount of times that I've seen going around the internet now, people will post up saying, blacklisted photographers, and people will start adding names to that list. I appreciate them doing that, but then there's also, you've got to be very careful of people's rights.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it time and time again, you'll get one of those people come across it, someone sent it to someone and they've gone, your name's on this list. Next minute there's a lawsuit. Defamation.
Right.
So there's no real right or wrong way to go about trying to make sure that the industry's safe.
Yeah.
Because like anything, there's it's a grey area.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're in the industry, in the adult industry, and you're wanting to work with professionals, then word of mouth is huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, that's a very I think, like in the times, everything's happening. It's just the way everyone's judged too. Like, you'd have to really be very professional to not even come across a little bit like, because, you don't even need to do much, and chicks are like, that's creepy.
Yeah.
So for you to have to, that's a very big, you got to be pretty fucking real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
And does that come with just being open and honest and being like,
I think it comes with having the right intentions to start with. I'm there for the creativity.
Yep.
Like I'm there for me. The whole purpose, if I'm there taking photos of yourself, I want you to feel comfortable.
Yeah, because that's going to help the photo.
Correct. And I want you to feel like you can expressively be yourself, because if you're trying to get a particular, whether it's sort of surface level, Instagram friendly, or it's explicit, you've got to be comfortable in my presence.
Yes.
And I'm not a small guy that just hides in the corner. Like, I'm a big person. So I've got to make you comfortable within the first 5 to 10 minutes of actually meeting you. And we get started and actually show you that I'm able to do what I say I'm here to do.
Yeah, interesting.
So it's you've got to be good with breaking that ice very quickly.
Yeah. So the majority, like all the chicks and that you have got on your Instagram, like they just, how do they get onto you? Do you get onto them?
Yeah, like these days it's very rare that I reach out these days.
So they're all coming because you've got that rep.
Someone's seen my page, they've loved my work, they've followed it for long enough that they can feel that there's trust there. That the massive thing that I've learned with social media nowadays, especially with all the personal branding going on, is the more transparent you can be in every aspect of what you do, the more people feel like they know you.
Yes.
Without even having to meet you. And that's huge. And a lot of, what a lot of photographers tend to fall into the pitfalls of is they're either very introverted people, but creative, and they don't put out on their page. I think one of the biggest things I've heard from the girls is if there's not a photo of you on your own page. And a lot of photographers don't like being in front of the camera.
Oh, that is a big thing, actually. I've never even thought of that, but they do. Right. They never show themselves.
And so you don't know who you're shooting with.
That's fucking creepy.
Yeah, right. And there's
I've never even, but that's so fucking true, dude.
There's even some big names in the industry now, like fantastic photographers, and they're not on their own page, which is sort of like, if you've been around long enough, people know you, but it still casts that, who am I? I've never, if they haven't worked with you before, they don't know who you are.
Yeah. And you just visually want to see someone.
Yeah, like I want to know.
Judge a book by its cover, not to be rude, but you're going to go, okay, he looks all right.
And I'm a pretty out there kind of dude. Like the top left picture on my Instagram is my mug with my buddy, my fancy mug, literal mug that I've got, and that's because I want people to see who I am. And there's a bio about me. I've given myself a write up. This is who I am. Go on my website. Exact same thing.
Yeah.
X years professional. I do this. I cover this. This is what I charge. Everything's transparent. And you need to have that level of transparency as a base.
Yeah. Very, very true.
Yep.
That's so you fucking dialed that in, bro. Yeah. That's do you think it has? And it's sort of like a bit of a weird one, but because you are a big dude, do you think that helps the safety, or like me and you, for instance, you're a big dude. You look like you could keep someone safe. Does that make sense? You sort of know what I mean? Whereas like, what's this little fucking cunt going to do?
Yeah.
And I think that, and at the end of the day, we all know, like, women are attracted to big, strong men. Does that make it just more comfortable for them so they are like, or could that be intimidating? Because you could take control whenever you wanted.
It's like saying how long's a piece of string, man.
It's a good point.
Everyone has
different
different
personality.
Everyone has different, interests and icks and likes and dislikes.
Good points.
For me, whenever I meet someone, that's the whole premise at the start is just to be a welcoming person. Like, it's not that hard to be a good person.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? Like,
it is. It's not real. It really, you can do a few little things to just be like a good person.
And like, a lot of the people that are in the adult industry, there is a level of trauma that comes associated with it. That's it. So you are meeting people who will be on the back foot.
Yes.
So you've really got to lift that personality to 11 in a positive sense and make sure that they feel welcomed, they feel comfortable.
Yes.
And that you're not a creep.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, obviously you're not a creep, so you don't put that shit out there. No. Has it gone the opposite way ever and you've been like, whoa?
I've had...
Like come on to you a little bit. They've got, in the mood, they're into it, and they're hey, big boy.
I've had one particular circumstance which happened when we were shooting in my home studio when I was living in Carrum Downs. Bro. Yeah, my missus was in the other room too.
Bro, it was crazy. Always the way, yeah.
But now, me, it's, some people just go, typical male. But me being me, I'm focused on getting the job done.
Yep.
And it was for a friend's clothing brand, and this chick was just faffing. And I'm sort of dealing with it, but sort of trying to get the shoot done and hurried along so we get the result, and then everybody's finished. I can put the tools down and it's good.
Yep.
But yeah, she was getting on my missus' nerves, and she's in the next room. She could hear her just the way she was talking and sort of saying my name a lot.
Yeah,
it was a bit strange. We sort of I've just gone in the other room. I'm just trying to finish this as quickly as I can and be polite.
So that
I'm being paid to take this shoot.
And that rubs you wrong.
Yeah,
that makes you uncomfortable in a situation.
You've got to. There's a professional way of handling it because you don't want to be rude.
Yes.
You don't want to be dismissive, but at the same time, I tend to set my boundaries.
Yeah.
And during my shoots, I'll talk about my partner. I'll talk about my kids. There's a level of they get a knowing of the type of personality I am.
Yep.
And I'll never put myself in a position where people think I'm coming on to them.
Yeah. This is your job.
Yeah,
You're not there for any other reason.
I'm here to creatively capture you at your best. Let's keep it to that.
Yeah.
I think that probably, like you said too, that probably helped. The fact that you do have a long-term missus, you got the kids, it puts you in a bit more of a respectable and trustworthy situation where, again, me, if I rock up, there you go, and I'm single. Come to me, shed out in the middle of the back smash and take some photos. It's fuck, that's a bit weird.
It's questionable.
It is. Fully. But I guess, like you said, all you need to do is open up with small things like, we did this with the missus on the weekend, and then, we had to drop my son off this morning, and I'm a good dude, man. If you don't trust that, well, you shouldn't have hired me.
And a lot of this stuff too, I put on my stories.
Yeah. So it's, again, transparency.
People who follow me, they watch what I do.
Yep.
And I'm doing my, as much as I forget to a lot, I try to put up as much as I can when I'm working or what I'm doing, so people get a good rounded perspective of who I am.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, the more questions I can answer before I meet somebody, the better.
Yeah, for everyone in the situation too. Everyone, just so you know.
Across the board.
Yep.
It makes me feel comfortable. I know the missus is respected and kids are respected. And I'm just there to be creative.
And like you said too, she's pretty cool with it. Does it jam her a little bit? It does. Yeah.
We're all human.
Yeah.
We all have points that trigger us and jealousy and communication.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Word.
Massive.
Word.
Kish and I, we're best mates at base.
Yep.
We met each other as a friendship. We just discussed my work, her interests. We're both in bodybuilding. You'll love this. I don't think I've ever told this story on a live sort of forum.
Yes,
but we met talking shit, literally talking about bowel movements, which now that doesn't sound interesting to start with.
True,
but at the time we were both we both talking shit. We were both competing at the same time, both in the last few weeks of our comps, and this is when I really reached out to her. After seeing her story, she was posting that she was having issues with her, obviously, bowel movements and all those sorts of things, which does happen with a lot of women in the final weeks of bodybuilding because of the lack of food or whatever, malnourishment.
Yep.
And I had a product that I said could help fix that problem, help her pass so she gets rid of the bloated stomach and whatnot, because I was working for a company that produced a superfood for your guts.
Right.
Yeah. So we literally met talking about bowel movements.
Wow. That's a pretty opener.
Mate,
talking about just putting it all on the table.
Yeah, like everything from there on is just like, this is grouse. This is so easy.
And the kicker was at work too. So it was my validation.
Yeah, okay. So, obviously, like you said, communication, but there's probably points where she obviously gets a little bit like, fuck this bitch.
And I've said to her in the past, if there's anything that comes up, I want to know about it when it happens. If you feel a certain way, let's talk to me about it.
Yep.
Because if you can get it off your shoulders, we can actually talk about it and we can move on.
Yep.
If it's something that I need to pull back from in my line of work, please let me know.
Yep.
And we'll compromise where we can. Because certain things that, there's obviously behavioural traits that I'm a very sort of out there and giving person. I'm very energetic.
Yep.
I'm very conversational.
Yep.
I never want that to come across as flirtatious.
Right. Yes.
So sometimes I might be a little bit, bit hyped, and I am ADD, so I like to get into things and get fixated. So, when that happens, if she's seen something in the past and she sort of said, look, I wasn't too comfortable with this, or a sort of type of conversation had, cool, I back off.
Yeah.
My bad.
Nice.
And because you're that kind of a person, like, you're flat out and you just go and all the above, and gym and all of it, you got these chicks that taking photos. Like, it'd be hard for, I guess, some of them, like they'd be wanting to be all over it, and trying to get in and crack into certain areas or
to be fair, I'm sort of I take this as a blessing that no one's really put that in front of my view.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, cool.
So they all respect that.
I wouldn't know.
I
hope it stays that way, because it allows me to focus on what I'm trying to do rather than having to sit there going, fuck, I've got to navigate that.
Yeah.
Whilst trying to get you at your best.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. We're all human, and if some people find me attractive, sweet. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not everyone's cup of tea.
It's good to hear that you just locked onto, like, I don't care what's in front of me. I'm here to do a job. Like, this is my job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care for you and how you look and Victoria's Secret model looking chick there. Like, well, I'm here to take photos, or I'm here to film, or whatever it is. That never gets lost.
Look, and look, to be fair, like, everyone deserves their moment in the spotlight.
Yep.
That's
True.
That's the be all end all of it. So
and you're giving it to them in a sense.
Well, I want to know that what I've done. When you see the end result, you're like, holy shit, is that me?
Yeah.
Like that's a great outcome.
Yeah, fuck yeah, it is. Yeah. Sick. All right, so now leading into all this, so like you were saying, we were sort of talking a little bit earlier, you're leading a lot more into the adult space. So you're doing some wild content.
Yeah, so it gets a bit more explicit these days, the jobs that I get requested, because OnlyFans has become such a prominent, it's in everybody's vocabulary.
Yep.
Let's face it.
Yep.
And it's getting younger.
Yep.
Which can be a problem.
Yep.
But at the same time, that's human nature is human nature. You got to go with what's flowing. And probably over the last 6 months, I've been getting a lot more requests to do the explicit content, because people will film their own self-shot stuff on your GoPros or your phones or whatever, but it will never. I personally don't think it'll. If you want quality, you've got to get a professional that's going to come along and actually shoot it in a professional format.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. And it takes a certain personality to be in that room, as I explained to you before. It takes a certain personality of open mind, of care, and of creativity that can actually be in the room and film what you need to get out.
Yep.
And still have you be comfortable, feel safe, and that you got what you hired me to do.
Yep.
So,
for instance, obviously you've got let's just say we've got an OnlyFans couple. They've been doing all their content alone at home.
Yes.
All right. Now this fucking dude's standing there with a camera.
Me into it.
Do they? Does it take them time to warm up to you? Or are they pretty much just like, yeah, this is what we do?
You know what? This is I can't explain this part of how I operate. It just comes naturally. I suppose you say it's a gift.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I have a general knack of being able just to either. I was talking to Miss about this the other day. If someone is introverted or lower on that energy, I'll bring them up to my level.
Yeah.
Some people are above me.
Yep.
You get into fetish industries, they're
right. Yep.
I can then bring myself up to them or bring them down to me.
Right.
So we're all on the same sort of vibe.
Okay, cool.
It's reassurance.
Yeah.
When especially if you walk in a room, like I'll give you the example, the gangbang example.
Yep.
So I shot a six guys and two trans girls.
So that's 8 men.
8 people. 8 men.
8, 6.
Guy, yeah.
Right. Yep. Yeah, you put it that way. Respectfully.
Yes.
We're not here to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
No.
And when you walk into a scenario there, admittedly, that's my first gangbang of that many people.
Yeah.
And
that's intimidating for anyone.
For some people. For me, I'm sort of like, this is interesting.
Yeah, okay.
I'm used to throwing myself in the deep end.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I
Fuck it and find out.
Yeah. Word.
In a positive sense.
Yeah.
So, for me, it was lucky we organised it in a way that the men would come upstairs first, the girls would then come in afterwards. So the guys had all had a chance to sort of be around each other's energy and comfortable.
Yep.
Have a bit of a chit chat, bit of bro chats.
Yep.
Beforehand.
Yep.
And then the girls came in, they introduced themselves, they got ready, and then everyone was ready to rock and roll. And the camera starts rolling.
Right.
Yeah. But for me, I personally just put myself in their seat, and as I said to you, I let them know that they're there to express their fantasy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get in the way of that.
Yep.
I'm simply here to capture all of that action happening.
Yep.
In a sense that I feel is, I'm not going to say cinematic, but in a professional sense, it's captured like a porn video would be.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Do you have to watch a lot of porn to know that, or you just, as a photographer?
I've seen my fair share.
Yeah.
But on the same...
Do you watch it a lot? Are you a porn guy?
I'm not a porn guy as much as I maybe was as a younger man.
Yep. As most dudes are, sort of, in your early 20s.
I think, especially, it's funny because from my field of work, I kind of need to know what works.
Well, that's sort of what
As a creative, and this goes without saying for any filmmaker or anyone in the video space, we really want to get inside our viewers' or audience's heads to put something together that you want to watch.
Yep.
So when I film explicit content, I'm trying to think, okay, what is it about what's happening that someone's going to want to watch?
Yes.
How do I best capture that?
Yep.
Like, people don't think of it this much. When you watch a porno, you don't think how long the cameraman sat there to get that angle, then moved when the girls moved position or the guys moved. You know what I mean? I've got to think of that on the fly and make that up as it goes. So I let everyone know when I'm in that scenario, here's how I operate.
Yep.
Respectfully, do your thing, but try not to get, like, if you see me coming in for a close-up, a tight shot, excuse the pun.
I was just going to say that. Tight shot.
For a tight shot, I'm up nice and close. Do your thing, but try not to, don't fling your legs or get in the way. Let me just capture that moment as it's happening.
Yep.
And I will respectfully stay out of everyone's way as best I can.
Yep.
And then that allows me to get around and navigate the scenario as it's happening.
Fucking hey.
It's intense.
It is, man.
So think of it.
For me, it's just adults being people. Just people being people.
It is true. Everyone does it. We all do it. We've all done it.
It's just in a little bit more of an open format.
Yeah. And I think me just, I guess I've always filmed shit. I've never really been into porn. I've never really even done it myself in my own situation. I haven't been like, let's do. Yeah. There's been a couple of bendery sort of
have a bit of a laugh
times. Yeah, but it's nothing like professional. So it would be, I don't know. I think I'm pretty good with, adapting.
Yep.
Going into things and being like, fuck yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah. Let's kick the ball and fucking whatever happens. But yeah, there'd be certain things where I think I'd be like, fuck, this is a lot.
Yeah. Like I'll give you a really good example. So you've got a male on his back.
Yep.
And you've got the girl on top riding essentially the old, is it not reverse cowgirl, but cowgirl. So she's facing him.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've come in for the tight shot where I can see everything.
Yeah.
One of the other dudes has come in with a bottle of lube. Now the lube is that lube that looks like semen.
Right.
It's got that sort of texture and colour to it.
Yep.
And he's seen me coming in, and he's obviously this is something that's one of his kink fetishes or something. He's got the bottle out and he's drizzling it down the back of the girl so it's running over a crack and just into that area. And then I see his hand come in and smush it.
Yeah.
And he did that intentionally because he saw it. Well, he wasn't even near the scene, but when I've pulled in, he's got in there. And so after we've got that, he asked me to play it back for him. When we were having a bit of a break.
Yeah.
So there's some weird shit that goes on.
It would be.
I mean, look, let's face it. If you're standing in a room, heterosexual male, standing in a room where you've got 5 guys all fluffing themselves, pumping up, fluffing themselves while there's action on the bed. And it's just normal.
Yeah.
I'm behind my camera and it's
other
just
crew?
normal.
Do you have...
I'm solo.
So it's just you and the artists.
Me and everyone that's involved.
performing, if you will.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. So there's not like a fucking lighting guy and another dude.
No, well, see, like,
mate,
if on a pro set, well, back in the day, I don't know how many. I honestly haven't worked with anyone else to make comment, but I'm assured that when you've got a production crew, if it's a proper production and they're doing it, there will be extra hands around. You've got to be comfortable performing in front of people.
Yeah. Wow.
And like all the participants had balaclavas on, other than the two girls.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And is that just kink shit?
No,
is that
that's
to
to
hide
protect their identity,
Yeah.
for one. And two, because they're going to be posting on OnlyFans, you need everybody's consent.
You do,
And if your face is out, you need written consent, photo IDs, and if they're doing a bit of an undergroundy sort of gangbang session, then everyone needs to mask up.
Yeah.
Other than the actual people who are on the page.
So is that how that works? If your face is on OnlyFans as content, you need to sign all this stuff away. But if you're wearing a mask, you don't. Your body can be.
Yep.
Interesting.
Consent's always needed, though. To be fair, in every scenario, and I'll always suggest this, even I have them myself, and enforcing it a lot more nowadays, is consent forms.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you just never know. Someone might just get ticked off at you for a personal reason and want to go you and say, I never gave consent, and you've got no proof of it. I think that's probably another massive topic in the adult industry nowadays that's become a real problem, is consent.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So are you...
Like, because I started a Patreon page a while ago, which was just posting some of the photographic explicit content that I've done for my subscribers, guys that follow my Instagram that want to see more.
Yep.
And they want to go through my avenue, not the model, or want to see various models.
Yeah.
And then I recently started a Fansly page, which I'm now working on in the background, building it up. The reason I haven't announced it is because, one, I haven't got enough content. I had to start fresh.
Yep.
Because with Fansly, you need to, like OnlyFans, anyone who's participating has to give consent, and you have to send that off to the actual company.
Yeah, right.
So you need written consent proof, photo ID, and a photo of them holding the photo ID in the consent form. So it shows that person is who they say they are.
Yeah.
Every person that's involved in that footage must sign
Hectic.
to do that. So for Fansly, I've had to start that process all over again because Patreon never asked for that.
Right.
It was just open slather.
Yeah, okay.
So now I've started fresh and I'm introducing video content to my page.
Right.
Now I'm rebuilding my archives up and having to get
So
consent forms.
and again, so every chick or every female you've taken photos of, or any content, you need to go back to them and be like, can I get this? Or you've got that beforehand.
No, so with all the Patreon stuff, I've left that there.
Okay.
I haven't touched that any further.
Yep.
The Fansly stuff going forward, everyone's had to fill out all the forms, give me the photos, and what I do is I do it at the shoot. I'm not storing content.
Nice.
They see me filling it out, they fill it out, I get the photos, they watch me email it off, I show them proof and delete.
Yep.
Go on.
Nice. How do they feel about you? Does that rub any of them weird? That's like they've got their OnlyFans. They're taking content for that.
Yep.
You're using that content for your own page. Are they a bit like, you can't do that? Or most of them are like, nah, promote me.
I'll ask permission.
Yeah, and then most of them are pretty cool.
If they're comfortable, yes.
Yep.
If they're not, it won't happen. I don't get a form filed out. Once the content's done,
it's yours.
Theirs.
Catch up.
Yeah. You've got to respect that right.
100%. 100%.
And I think that's, you'll hear some people get caught up in that where haven't received their content, or there's some people that don't go right by the models.
Yeah. That's probably not the best way to do it.
No.
So are you hunting, like, are you looking to do this more? Like, is this what you want to continue?
So I'll continue to do this for as long as it's sort of, I feel it's viable for me personally. Yeah. But where I'm now moving into, as I was saying before, as a content creator, not so much as participating in the adult content, but as more of an authoritative figure. So I'm going to start educating.
Yeah.
And helping new young creatives coming up as a resource. So they'll basically see me talk about things, my struggles with the journey, things I've learnt along the way, things that they'll find informative, helpful, help them navigate both being a photographer, videographer in whatever industry they want to be a part of, but also I'll specify in athletes and adult industry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because they're the two things that I've been well known for years.
Yeah.
It's my thing.
Everyone, people know you for it, so
that's it.
You wouldn't want to change it.
No. And when you're doing your own content, you want to do something that's sustainable and that's something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Because you've got to produce every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Which I'm just about to start doing. So
Yeah, all right, sick. You said something earlier outside too about AI.
yep,
And I actually watched a video about this on the weekend,
it's coming.
and I was like, "Oh shit! I didn't even think of that." And what that was is like, there's not gonna be influencers in the next 10 years,
No.
and if there is, you're gonna be really fucking good.
Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, adult industry,
Yep.
porn
It's already there.
It's like we don't need a real chick. We just make an AI one. Yeah.
There's a few. There's a
Yeah,
few.
it's like legit, man, and it's as real as it. We don't
It's a billion-
need these chicks anymore. We just fucking type it all in, bang, we've got our video, pump it out.
It's $1 billion industry.
Yeah, because you can align everything.
Just remember,
Put this in, put that in, put this in, put that
here
in.
in Australia, we've got the blinders on
Oh,
Yeah.
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 because
Big time.
we're in the process at the moment. Excuse me. So last year, me and 3 other business partners started our own platform, kind of like OnlyFans, but not.
Yeah.
Our point of difference was to be working with up and coming influencers into the scene who were starting to take off or wanted to take off, and was a bit of a stepping stone from having low key OnlyFans to trying to get to stardom to actually take off.
Right.
Yeah.
And we started that. We had 31 creators come on board, which is awesome over 3 months.
Yep.
Sick.
And that it had a really good projection to start with. We had a few hundreds of subscribers during that time, which is perfect. It basically proved the concept that we wanted.
Yep.
The problem was we'd sort of capped out on how much we all personally wanted to invest.
Right.
Yeah.
So we wanted an investor. Forward to now, AI has become such a massive thing, and we've sort of toyed with it in the past sort of 6 to 8 months, but it's becoming more of a legitimized thing. We're actually going to pivot quite drastically and start working in the AI angle.
Yep.
Because the name of the brand is Fantasy Mansion, so you can essentially create the
The ultimate fantasy for them.
persona that you want to,
Right.
you want to fulfill.
And so you've done a bit of it.
I personally haven't yet, but
Yep.
that's where that business is going to start to pivot.
Yeah. Right.
And it's huge.
Yeah,
It is
Yeah.
That's what that I
huge.
can't remember what I think it was like just a clip from something of someone talking about it,
Yep.
and they were pretty much saying that, and like they, detailed a few things, and I was like, holy fuck, dude, that's so true. Like
You've got that, and in the very same vein, and this is probably on a lesser controversial side of things here, but you've also got the memes going around like women sleeping with AI bots, or like we're getting into this this realm where we're having proper mechanical humanized bots,
yep,
right? And you get the memes where you got the chick sleeping with just their robot because that's the new vibrator toy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yep.
So it's a weird sort of, we're going in a very interesting
We are.
times ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit scary, but
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you jump on that bandwagon, and someone else is going to do it. If you've got the
Yeah.
utilities and the things there to do it.
Yeah,
man.
look, the AI thing is huge. Don't get me wrong, it is massive. And the
Yep.
only way for people to sort of escape that in the personal branding realm as an influencer, you really need to have an audience who gives a shit about you.
Yeah, you need to be authentic, real.
Vulnerable
Actually influential.
and
Like I
relatable.
think that, I think that because for a long time, influencers, they weren't really influencing much. They were just sort of there. And then they do and they don't, if that makes sense. They influence certain things. But I think good influence is what's going to take over too. Like
Yeah.
that bad influence shit will be all just AI dark bullshit where the real ones will sort of shine.
Your content creators who are just pushing whatever they're pushing, whether it be brand like sales or product
Correct.
or whatever,
Yeah.
they'll tend to die out because AI is so much cheaper.
Yeah,
To build.
Everything you can have it. So it's like if as a creator, if you don't have it all, then how can you compete with the AI? If that makes sort of sense.
AI doesn't charge an hourly rate.
And that,
form.
yeah, isn't that crazy?
But to have proper brand influence, a proper like a personal brand that people relate to, they want more of,
yep,
will become high ticket.
yes, yep, I believe that too. It's crazy.
Well, you I don't know if you know much about the fitness industry, but like Gymshark, the clothing brand,
Yep.
they've just partnered with Chris Bumstead, who is 6-time Mr. Olympia for Classic. His net worth, like his following, was like 4 million or something like that.
Crazy.
And was bigger than their audience. So they've just share partnered with him, and it's
Yep.
massive.
Yep.
And you'll see a lot of it, like the Kim Kardashians and stuff like that. They've been doing it for a while, but that's essentially where it's going.
Yeah.
If you've got an authentic crowd of people that will follow anything you do, you are worth so much.
Yeah. It is. It's fucking. It's wild. Because at the same time, you know, like I'm sort of semi in the middle of like building that, and you can sort of see that it actually does work.
Shit, yeah.
But it's also extremely fucking hard because like people care today, people don't care tomorrow.
Yeah.
People care fucking right now. 20 minutes later, they don't care because something else has come up.
You know what's something that's really, really pivotal for a personal brand is having pillars that you'll die on, like the hill you'll die on.
Yeah.
You've got to have a couple of things where people don't like you for it,
Yep.
but twice as many people love you for it.
Yep.
If you have those, it humanizes you a lot more and makes you relatable. Like you've got a stance.
Yes.
If you have that, that's what a company or a business doesn't have.
Yeah, and I think that it does because a lot of influencers out there don't. They just bend over. They just take whatever's good.
They'll take someone else's idea, rinse and repeat it. Like you've got to create content that someone else can't copy
because it's authentically you.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. Yep. Which I'm not gonna lie, that's fucking hard. It's not an easy thing to do.
I can't see anyone doing what you do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, that's good. Appreciate that. Thank you. But it's
a point
fucking
of difference.
it's fucking hard though.
Yeah.
It is very, you know. And again, like, you know, you see little things. I did a video like 2 weeks ago. My opening line ended up a week later on an ad.
Yep.
For another
Yep.
Sunny brand, and I'm like, you fucking.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it because that just means you're watching and you know that I'm bringing the fucking goods. But fuck you, you know, go be an original, you know.
Yep.
But I think it comes down to, again, we overthink it a lot. We try to be at that level where the truth is bring it all the way back down and just show them something that's relatable.
True happiness comes from just doing you.
Correct. But, you know, that's interesting. So again, like that's obviously probably where you're leading into now. You want to do all this AI stuff, a little bit more adult. Yeah, that
sort of the adult. Again, anything human form. I enjoy working with athletes because I understand what goes into being one.
Yep. Fuck yeah.
Not that I'm actively bodybuilding like as shows at this point in time. I still live the lifestyle. I understand the monotonous. The monotony of eating the same foods a lot and being on a plan and diet.
And you've been there and done it.
Yep. Correct,
You're
that's
just
right.
not doing it now.
And I think that the again, I like my extremity. So I like people that cause a little bit. They go against the grain, and bodybuilding tends to do it because people go, "Oh my god!" Like you're in a very small percentile of people that can actually achieve it and stick to it.
Yep.
Same with the adult industry; they put their bodies on the line, and I think there's a tasteful way to do it, and then there's garbage.
Yes.
And it's going to sound like a bit of a strange thing, but it was my thoughts on the adult industry and the way that I would like to see it go was affirmed to me the other day when I was talking to a client of mine. And she said the same thing to me. She's like, if you're doing that porn stuff, it'd be good to see it emulate what actual intimacy and affection is between.
Fuck yeah, I couldn't agree more. Because porn's, it's bullshit, man. You ain't out there doing that, bruh. And
right.
if you are, it's a bit rude.
That's it.
You know, don't get me wrong. If you're both into it and you want to take it down those, cool. You've all got your weirdness, but make it a bit, but make it a bit more. And I look at it too in a like a movie.
Yep.
When there's a sex scene in movies, it makes you feel.
If it's done well,
it's
you're
way more
engaged.
Fuck yeah! As much as you're sort of going, you're sitting there on the couch with your parents going, shit, they're having sex. Oh shit, sex
weird.
Yeah, fully. But they don't show that in porn. Like it's all very.
It's staged
and a lot more brutalized. It's a lot. It's there's
vicious.
It's where truth is. Most of the time, it's not really like that.
And look, there is an argument for everything, and when it comes to the porn industry in that regards, you'll see a lot of it is very full on, and not full on in terms of just what you're seeing. It's just like the women, they're almost like begging for hardness, right? That vigor.
Yeah.
But you'll find that real life.
Yes.
That's not always the case. And that's, I think, and look, I have a big problem with it because I have a son and I have 3 stepkids.
Yep.
Right. Of varying ages.
Yep.
My son being 14 coming into his 15, right? He's at that age.
Weird.
And I sit there and think, what I'm filming, is that, to a degree, is that something that I'd be happy for him to watch?
Yeah, that's a good
in
point.
his own, in his upcoming.
Yep.
And I'd like to think that when I film with the people that engage in my services, that we're portraying a particular set of adult content that is actually tasteful.
Yeah.
Similarly to the stuff that I post on my page, I'd like to think that sometimes in my head I'm like, I could really guide these people that are working with at the moment into a really cool scene.
Yep.
But at the same time, they're paying me to film them do their thing.
Yes.
So you've got to find that fine line.
And they've got followers that love that shit.
Correct. And look, the fetish industry is an example of this. Like there are certain things out there that I just go, whoa.
Is there things where you'd say no?
If you need me to film it, I'll film.
Would you say no to something that's like too much? Would you be like, I'm not fucking filming that?
There's a fine line. Like there's a lot of things. I'll film a lot of things.
Yep.
But then there's some things that I've always said that as long as everyone's consenting,
yep,
everyone's of age,
yep,
and I stay on my side of the camera,
yep,
I'm pretty chill.
Yep.
But I haven't come across something yet that I'd say no to. I think probably one of the main things is possibly the blood industry side of things. That's a bit much for me.
Real brutal.
Yeah, I don't know, just not something I'm interested in filming.
No.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Fair.
Like I've got to be interested to some degree to be able to draw creativity to capture something.
Correct. Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's some things that I'll have to ask the people performing it, saying, "Oh, how do people normally like to see this?" Because I'm completely out of my depth here.
Yep.
Give me some example or something that I can tangibly work with.
Yep. And will they like show you a video that they've done and be like, "This is our best video," and you go, "Well, that's why this hit. That's why this hit. We're going to focus a bit more."
Sometimes that's the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Like I don't, as a rule of thumb, I don't follow any of the people I work with's OnlyFans or any of that. I'll follow maybe their Twitter at worst.
Yep.
But for the most part, I don't follow anyone's OnlyFans because what they put out there is for their audience.
Yep.
I'm interested in what I'm filming for them and if I can improve on what they've got.
Yeah. And fuck paying that. You don't want to be paying for all that.
Ah, look, I support them in the way and making sure that what I'm doing for them, if they inquire in my services,
content is there, and that's the main focus. Is like I'm delivering you content, and it's going to be quality, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. There's also a level of respect to my missus as well.
Just
that
about
was
to say
massive.
that has
That
to
would-
be a level of respect
Fully,
for your
fuck
missus.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep. You just
100%.
don't need to look at those
good.
photos again, do you?
The other thing is too, it just doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
Just flat out doesn't interest me.
Yeah,
Yep.
fair call. I can understand because I'm just very similar. It
Well,
doesn't
you-
interest me. It really doesn't.
You get a lot of people like, oh, how do you do that? How do you just without getting hard? It's like, I'm not there for that.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on looking at, if I don't produce the goods, they're not fucking coming back, are they?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
But and you know what the difference is too? That's
And I've
just
seen it a lot.
Like man, I don't know, some dudes are just fucking overly horny. Do you know what I mean? Just take a step back, breathe, mate.
Well,
you know what I
you
mean?
gotta remember,
When you first started, was it a little bit like, fucking,
it was interesting because I was dating a stripper when I started.
Yeah, okay.
So I was already exposed to that industry.
Yeah.
Quite full on.
Yeah.
So like when you date, I think I don't know if this happens to other people, but for me personally, when you've dated a stripper, the glamour of that idea,
I feel ya.
like your missus is doing that for other dudes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like if you're comfortable with that, all the power to you.
Yep.
And I was, but you know, at the end of the day, I moved forward, and that's what I did as a creative profession. And I'm just like, well, I'm in it now. So
Hats off to you to be able to be okay with that.
Yeah, it's good.
Everyone's got their thing, and I'm built for that. So
yeah. Fucking oath. That's
work.
crazy shit,
Yeah.
man. It's interesting. How long we been going for, big fella? Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, You're in trouble, man. I can yarn for hours.
Yeah,
I've had so many years of shit.
To be completely honest, too, like I'm happy to keep. If anything, too, we do need to piss off because well, we got it here. Hold on a minute. Let me just spin this camera around. Keep it on me. Big happy birthday to the big man behind the controls over here. It's his birthday. He's 18
Today?
Yeah, he's big 18 now, brother.
Oh, what a conversation to have when you're 18.
Yeah.
You're old enough.
Happy 18.
Ain't that the truth?
Christening.
What a
When
piss
do you
up.
get your license?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
It'll be
Right into it.
Beautiful.
So,
Legend.
Well timed.
fucking oath. So anyway, that was a little bit.
Someone say that was staged.
I know, fully. I didn't even think of that, but how fun is that? We've actually, the first, like, technically, like, overage
First day,
podcast, he's legally of age and we're allowed to talk about porn.
How
I
good.
feel blessed.
But, yeah, so anyway, long story short, I got to get him to the station.
Yeah.
We've still got half an hour or whatever, but
I got people coming to pick up things.
do ya? What
Yeah.
time?
Nah, I said like
20 minutes.
2:30 on.
All right, well, we'll fucking clean it all up. What else is sort of... I guess we sort of cleaned up where you're going towards it all too.
Yeah.
We've hit some pretty fucking...
I'm going to put it out there. I would love, and I've mentioned this to you before, I've got a concept that I want to do here
Yeah.
in your grounds.
Yep, yep.
And I think that'd be fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can bring all the naked girls over, brother.
It involves fire.
Yeah, and that's... we've sort of... Yeah, anything extreme, anything
for
flammable, all that sort of shit. I love it.
He's burned his face off once before.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we won't get into that. But yeah, bro. Like I love that creative side. Like I said, I've always frothed your vision. I would just appreciate, over the shoulder. You know what I mean? Just to see how you do it, the lighting, all that sort of shit. Help be So whenever you're ready, bro, you just let me know. And we'll fucking.
I've got the
shoot some
girl.
cool shit.
She's a Perth model, so I've got to get her down here first, and when we can organise that,
Yep. Sick.
we'll line it up.
Make that shit happen, bro. Fucking oath. That's cool. What are you got? Can you let out the ideas?
The idea is,
Yeah.
it's sort of hard to explain. I've got visuals of it, but
Yeah,
it's
but
going to involve fire. I want something to explode if we can.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
We'll work it out, but
For still shots or for both?
both.
Yep.
I'll probably film the action of it, but we'll be able to get stills around it while the fire's still burning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
It was a concept I came across from another. I can't remember the artist's name. I'll probably have to credit them for some part of it. But
Yep.
there was just a really cool vibe about this shot. It was done. Their one was done on a rooftop, and I'm not that lucky to have a rooftop I can put an explosion on. So in the city,
There's one out
I
there.
was just gonna say, we've got one here. We can probably put it up. Oh
It's
shit! Right.
fucking concrete. Like
If anyone's
that
got
thick.
TNT, let me know. Bring it around. We're gonna do some fucking shoots. Yeah, sick. All right, well we'll lock that in. We'll make that shit happen, and
be worth keeping an eye out for.
yes, definitely. Always, we'll get super creative on that one, and I'll try and put my input in, and we'll just get super fucking.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be sick. All right. Other than that, anyone else got anything to say?
Nah, it was good to have you on.
Yeah, it was.
Good to.
Appreciate being here.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, I sort of wish we could probably keep yarning more and more, but if we got to keep going,
I can
through
always
it.
come back, lads.
That's what
There's always there's opportunity for that.
I'd actually like to sort of start getting guests in more than once. So it's almost like the first one's a little bit of a warm up, so you know who you are, where you come from, and then the next ones we just fucking talk shit about nothing.
That's it.
So I think when we tee something up, we'll try and fucking link it all around it. And
Sounds good.
Have another one and. Bob's
If
your
we
uncle.
do it at the right time, we could always do the podcast before the shoot, that way you can actually suss them all too.
That's always true. That'd be interesting. Getting a little bit of insight from the actual models.
Correct.
Fucking oath. All right. Thanks for coming, everyone. Cheers,
Right
ladies
on.
and gentlemen. I got to keep remember, every time we go to the end, everyone looks at their own camera. Technically, got to go to the wide over there and be like, catch us later.
Yeah.
Peace out. Thank you very much, boys. Enjoy.
My die!